What advice would I go back and give myself? Today I am answering a listener's question. I am going back in time to give myself the advice I wish I had. Welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm, episode 203 with me, Tara Swiger. Today we are going to answer Cece's question about what advice I would give myself that was starting the business. And you can get your question answered by calling 567-393-8272 and leave me a message. We will play your message and I will answer your question on an upcoming episode of the podcast. So by leaving a message, you're giving me permission to share it on the show. And if you like the podcast, but you want more behind the scenes look at my business and my life, be sure you're subscribed on YouTube. I am posting a video every day in April on YouTube, and that includes the weekly vlog, which comes out on Monday, the new podcast, Essential Enthusiasm, that comes out every Friday. It's a conversation with me and Jolie, and then a lot of Q&A and stuff in between. And if you want to be part of those videos live, be sure you're watching me on Instagram. I'm just Tara Swiger over on Instagram, and I share everything I'm doing on Instagram first. You can find links to all of that in today's show notes at taraswiger.com/podcast203. So now let's hear Cece's message.
Hi, Tara. Congratulations on your 200th episode. I'm so grateful for the multitude of things that you've talked about over these last 200 episodes. They've been so helpful to me in my business. I didn't say who I was. This is Cece Allman of Java Pearl Designs, Geeky Girls Knit, and Oils with Cece. So I have a couple of questions for you for your 200th episode. First, if you could tell the you on the day you started your business only one piece of advice, what would it be? So the day you started your business, if you could go back and tell yourself one thing, what would it be? And the other question is, what's been your favorite class to teach and your favorite podcast episode that you've recorded? All right. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Cece. Okay, so I know you asked for just one piece of advice I would give myself, but I actually kind of have two. So the first answer is really, and I mean, this is really what I would do if I could go back in time and talk to myself, is I would give myself my classes that now I teach, because I have put the most important stuff I've learned over the years, the foundations of a healthy business, profit, marketing, breaking up your goal, having a workday that works for you. I've put them in my classes and my books, and I only create classes that are the foundational information that I see holding my clients back, and that I see was holding myself back. And it's information that I can't find and couldn't find anywhere else. So I wish I had all that info in one place when I started out. So what I needed to know was goal setting and map making, profit math, and marketing. Those are the really basics of what I needed to know back then. And I've taken all of those years of figuring it out and put it in one place. So I would go back in time. I'd probably give myself map your business and market yourself, and then the access to pay yourself. You can find links to all of those if you want to give your current self those at taraswiger.com in the books and programs tab, and members at Starship have access to all of it. So other than traveling back in time and giving myself classes like homework to do, my advice is really simple. Trust yourself. Okay, that's it. We can all go home. No, I'm going to go deeper. Your best business is built on you, your skills, your abilities, but also your preferences and your personality. So the more you lean into that, the faster you trust yourself to do what you want to do what you feel led to do what sounds fun to you, to follow what feels enthusiastic to you, the better your business will go. That's the entire reason I named this podcast Follow Your Enthusiasm, is because I see over and over that our best businesses are built when we follow what lights us up, when we follow what we get enthusiastic about, and when we stay enthusiastic in our business. So when you trust yourself, you're going to end up in a business you actually like working on, which means you're actually going to put in the work, because the work is like fun and not work in the traditional sense. And it means that if you're putting in that work, your business is going to grow faster. And if you're feeling that energy and enthusiasm, you're going to keep doing the work, which is what makes your business grow faster. So it's not to say there's not going to be downtimes when you trust yourself, but it is saying that they won't be downtimes because you're doing what somebody else told you to do, which is the worst. It's the worst. When you find that you are hating something and it is horrible and you don't want to do what you're supposed to do and it's because someone else told you to do it, that's the worst. So trust yourself. When you trust yourself, you're going to partner with people who you should say yes to, who it's good for you to say yes to, and you're going to say no to the people you shouldn't work with. That means collaborations, that means people hiring you, that means people who are your customers and clients. When they ask you for something and you don't want to do it or you don't want to work with them and you say no, your whole business is better. You now have time and energy to put it into the stuff you're going to be enthusiastic about. So when you trust yourself, you're going to really, really, really like the customers, clients, students you have because they are the people who's drawn to what you most like and what you most want to do. That means they want from you what you want to give. That is an excellent, fulfilling business to be in. Like, I consider my number one success not the fact that my business has hit certain numbers, not the fact that I have 6 figures in sales, but that I actually like working with everybody I'm working with. I like doing what I do each day and it pays the bills. But what I wish I would have known way back then is that it will pay the bills better when I like doing what I'm doing because I'm going to put in the work, I'm going to put in the energy, I'm going to not feel sucked dry by it, so I'm not going to need as much recovery time, and I'm going to like my day-to-day. And I know this is crazy, but the more you like your day-to-day, the faster your business grows. And when you totally trust yourself to be yourself in the business, you're going to stand out from all the other businesses who might look like they do what you do. So I don't have competition. And I didn't have competition when I made yarn. Yes, there are other people serving the community that I serve, but they teach totally different topics and they do it in a completely different way and they have a completely different goals and they go about getting those goals in totally different ways than I do. We may have some things in common, but we have more things not in common, which is good for both of our businesses. But if I don't trust myself to go my own way, I'm going to fall into doing what they're doing, in which case we would be competing to be the exact same kind of business with the exact same kind of products and the exact same kind of branding, and nobody would be able to tell us apart. And then neither one of us would be as successful. So the more I lean into trusting myself, the further I get from having competition. And I intuitively did that in my yarn business because I didn't want to have the kind of business other people were having. So it kind of ended up like that. But I would tell myself that's the way to go, even further, even faster. And I would tell you that's the way to go. So I've been talking about this for a really long time. I don't mean in this podcast episode, I mean in my life. I've been talking about trusting yourself and being yourself. I actually have a post in July of 2013, which you can find linked up in the show notes, where I talk about the importance of trusting yourself. And I share a free mini booklet that helps you tap into what you need to know in order to trust yourself. You can go find that in the show notes at taraswiger.com/podcast203. And I did an episode titled Be Yourself, which is part of trusting yourself. It's an outgrowth of trusting yourself. Is when you actually are yourself in your business relationships. And it's episode 14, way back in July of 2014. So in that episode, I break down how to actually tap into what be yourself means for you, how to do it, because I was told that a lot before I did my first creative live, and then I kind of figured out what that meant in the process of doing it. So that's episode 14. You can find it if you scroll back in iTunes or YouTube. It's not on YouTube. This is before I was doing videos. If you scroll back and look for Be Yourself in July 2014, or you can just go to taraswiger.com/podcast203 and I'll link it up there. And I noticed as I was going back that both of these are created in Julys. And I think it's because July is the anniversary of quitting my day job. So it's when I tend to reflect on the question of what the heck got me here? How did I end up with this awesome business? How have been able to be self-employed for nearly 8-9 years? And when I think about that every July, this message, trusting yourself and being yourself in your business, comes up again and again because it's at the heart, the foundation of everything else. Now, another reason why this comes up again and again is because it's really hard. It's really hard for me. It's really hard for the clients I work with. It is so much easier to do what everyone else is doing and then use their measuring stick to beat yourself up with. It is much easier to compare your success, your tactics, your social media, your messaging, your branding, your products to what everybody else is doing. But when you do that, when you compare yourself, when you live according to someone else's standards, you're going to end up with a business you don't really like, or you're going to end up with no business at all. So lots of the makers I've worked with that have closed their business or stopped doing their business or shifted their business, it's because they were unhappy measuring themselves by someone else's standards. And the fix is so easy. Just stop. Trust yourself that where you want to go and the way you want to go about it and your branding that is built on who you are is going to get you there so much faster than just keeping up with somebody else. So this isn't just true in my life. I've seen it repeated over and over and over in my clients and my friends' businesses and just in their lives. When they lean more into their own special sauce, their business grows and grows and grows, and it's magical. I just saw this happen with a long-time client and friend whose business had a certain number, and I can see the ways she's becoming more and more of herself online. She's experimenting with doing things the way she wants to do them. It is true for so many of you. When you message me, you say, like, I gave up on doing this and I feel so much better, I have so much more energy, my business is growing faster. So that's my answer. I would go back in time, give myself my classes and my books, which is maybe cheating. And I would also tell myself, trust yourself, be yourself, faster, harder, go all in, stop caring what other people think. Which is why I did a whole bunch of a series of podcast episodes, I think it was this fall, about not caring what other people think. That is the kind of mirror, that is the same coin of trusting yourself, is to stop caring what other people think. You'll find those episodes linked up at today's show notes. So Cece also asked me what my favorite classes to teach or my favorite podcast episodes are. And I think the answer might be disappointing. So the first part of the answer is I have no idea what I've been talking about for over 200 episodes. So there's no way I could tell you a favorite episode because I do not remember the episodes. I write them, record them, completely forget about them, never look at them again. So I actually search my own site to find the references to when I've talked about stuff before. So earlier when I told you it was episode 14, that's because I went to taraswiger.com and I typed in the search bar, trust yourself. Then I remembered, oh wait, I did an episode and it was called Be Yourself. So I searched that. I just remember when I'm thinking about it, oh, I think I've done a podcast about that, and I search it up. So that's the only way I know what I've ever talked about before. And I only teach live versions of classes, like new versions of classes, both online and in person, what I really am in the process of enjoying talking about. So if I used to teach on something and I don't want to talk about it anymore, I don't teach it anymore. Now you can find lots of those classes in the Starship library. They're all excellent classes that are totally applicable to today. I just don't want to keep talking about them, launching them, teaching them, having that as part of what I'm talking about day to day. So my favorite thing to talk about, though, is probably what this episode is about, which kind of encompasses confidence, trusting yourself, building a business where you don't compare yourself to others, and building a business where you don't worry about what other people think, living a life where you let go of other people's judgments. And all of this is because secretly, actually, I think business is an excellent tool to go deeper, to the foundational life stuff, to work on the stuff that's going to give you a better life, even if you didn't have a business. So that includes being confident, going your own way, bonus points if you sing the song, Go Your Own Way while you do it, creating freedom from yourself, freedom for yourself, so that you can decide what you want to do with your life and with your days. So even if your business never hits a specific goal, like it never hits $1 million or it never even replaces a day job salary, building it and learning these foundational issues is a tool to teaching you to trust yourself and rely on yourself. It is building your confidence, your skills, your belief in yourself, if you choose to take those lessons from it. So if you've been around for a while, you might remember in the Biz Confidence Challenge, which is one of my most favorite things to teach. I taught it at Midwest CraftCon. I have a challenge that I open up like once a year and have podcast episodes about it. And one of the skills in it is to learn that you survived failure. So you could survive anything. That's what I think being a business teaches you, is to put yourself out there, to risk failure, to risk total success, and to, from that, build confidence in yourself, which is then applicable to anything. You can use those skills and self-confidence in another job. You can use it in parenting. You can use it in relationships. You can just make decisions for yourself coming from a place of self-trust and confidence. And if you do build your business, it will also give you that financial and time freedom. And that is what I want to see in more women's lives, so that they're making decisions from a place of trust and a place of confidence and a place of having the ability to make a decision, a financial ability to make that decision. So, that's what I'm here for, to help you feel less alone on your path towards total self-confidence and maybe world domination, but definitely self-confidence and freedom to make your own decisions and live the life you want to live. So thank you so much for being here and for sending in your questions. Head to the show notes to get the phone number for how to call and the links to everything I've talked about at taraswiger.com/podcast203. And if you've been curious about my second business, my essential oil business, you check out essentialenthusiasm.com. You are going to find a new weekly podcast there, and it's where I use actual physical tools to do the same work I do here, which is building your confidence and improving your life. So this is an excellent month to get started using essential oils, because when you do, you're going to get $50 back on your next order. So head over to essentialenthusiasm.com or drop me a line to ask me your questions. But this is a month to get started. I invite you to get started in April and get that $50 back next month. That is good if you're in the US, Canada, or anywhere in Europe. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you an enthusiastic day full of trusting yourself and being yourself.